What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Iran with RTS Mobile Gaming, bringing you another fantastic Tile Survive video today. In today's video, we're talking about the brand new patch that just dropped about 24 hours ago. This patch has some massive changes to the heroes, to the faction. Well, they added new factions, they changed a bunch of heroes, they buffed 5 different heroes' skills and tweaked things, and then they changed some of the heroes' weapons. So, we're going to be talking through all of those things as fast as possible. I'll try and keep this video under 5 minutes. If you like the content, feel free to like and subscribe and post in the comments below if you want to see something else. On to a quick message from our video sponsor, Lootify. Lootify can save you a ton of money on your in-game packs. Check the link to Lootify's Discord in my video description below. Save yourself potentially $28 on your first $100 pack. They have a flash sale. Thank you for Lootify for sponsoring today's video. Hero changes! Let's get right to it. Let's start with the factions. They have changed the positioning information. The gunner or guardsman or marksman type units no longer really matter for stat bonuses. This is just telling you where in the position of your formation they are recommending to put these heroes. Guards are going to go in the front line. They're going to be a little bit tankier typically. And they have changed some heroes such as Ray, who used to be a frontline tank, into being a ranged marksman type unit that does ranged damage. Factions, they have added factions to the game. They changed the hero type. Instead of the hero type like guards or marksmen giving the bonuses, you now get factions. We have the Mariner faction, which there are no heroes released as of today, but the Mariners can be applied to any faction to give the appropriate bonus. Assuming that means that they give 20% damage to all the enemy factions and they take 20% damage from all the other factions. I don't know the exact details on how the Mariners will work yet, but we'll learn that soon. We also have the Aeronauts, and I'm probably pronouncing these all incorrectly, so I'm going to open up the hero menu to take a look. Alright, so we have the Stalwart faction, which used to be the Guard faction. Now the Guard heroes have turned to Stalwart, and the hero positioning tooltips, like I talked about earlier with Ray, for example, have been updated depending on where they're supposed to be positioned in your formation. So we have the Stalwarts, which are the old Guards. We have the Rovers, which are the new Gunners. Okay, the Gunners have all been changed to the Rover faction. And then the third faction that we have is going to be the Aeronauts, which is the old Marksman. Some heroes like Sarge got to maintain his Marksman position and get the Aeronaut bonus, so really no change for this guy. But the fourth faction is something new that they've added to the game, which didn't exist before. Okay, this Mariner faction is really interesting because, again, this is going to allow it to count as any faction, and I'm really interested to see what Mariner heroes they release so we can start testing some of that stuff out. Now let's talk about which of the heroes they actually updated and changed. They changed 5 of the heroes here substantially. Let's take a look. I don't have all of them unlocked. I'm still missing Tony, but let's start with Ray. Ray has been changed to a ranged hero, as I talked about a second ago. This means you can put him in your back line, and he will be doing ranged damage. This actually is probably a big buff for Ray, because Ray's weapon has always given ranged attack damage, and he has always been very squishy because he has no tanky skills. He has 3 damage-dealing skills. So I always, when I used to put him in the front line of my guardsman formation back before they added these factions, he would die very quickly, do almost no damage, and he was a big disappointment. Now, with his range setup, they actually boosted his damage of his skill a little bit as well. It doesn't look like it on paper when you read this, but it does substantially more damage in battle than it used to. And now that he's ranged, he is living a lot longer into the fight, allowing him to actually do decent damage. The next hero that they changed is Tara. Tara is actually crazy damage dealer now. They changed her from being the guard type to being a gunner type, which is very interesting to me. But they boosted the damage output that she does substantially. Now, again, you're not going to see a big change in the actual tooltip itself, but for whatever reason, the damage she's actually putting out allows her to occasionally pass Rosie in damage. It's really incredible. Rosie has gone from being the #1 damage dealer on my team to #2 behind Tarzan and occasionally behind Tara. Tara, again, now is doing great damage. It's really interesting, and she got a major buff. She's very powerful now. Nicola is the next hero that they changed substantially. They added a big boost to his shielding skill. His shielding skill is a little bit stronger now. It also is going to give you bonus attack damage while his shield is active, which is really great. So you're going to see Nicola being a little bit tankier and dealing a little bit more damage, which is a nice buff. Nicola was already pretty strong because he's very, very tanky. He's very hard to kill with his both of his shielding abilities. However, adding this damage boost and making his shielding ability a little bit stronger is a nice, welcome change to see. Layla is the 4th hero out of the 5 heroes that they changed in the patch, and you already know from my previous videos that Layla is probably my favorite hero in the game, or at least in my top 2. I really think she's amazing. Well, they made her even better, and let's talk about why, where and why. Okay, for starters, they buffed her healing skill. It no longer just does healing. It does a lot of healing, and I don't think the healing has gone up any, but it does a lot of healing right now. But in addition to doing a lot of healing, she does a lot of damage from her skill. She does a lot of damage to all the enemy targets on the field, and she gets a 20% defense buff while the healing is ticking. So every 10 seconds, she gets 5 seconds of healing over time on a 10-second cooldown. And this is going to mean that for half of the fight, a 50% uptime duration on the fight, she'll be doing damage to the enemy equal to the amount of healing she's doing, and she'll be getting a 20% defense bonus. This is a major upgrade for Layla, who again was already my favorite hero in the game. She is now even tankier. Pairing that with her already massive health bonus is absolutely incredible. She is going to be a very, very tanky hero that actually applies a little bit more damage now, which is very, very interesting. So if you guys didn't have Layla before, or you were on the fence about putting her in your main March, I have to say she is absolutely irreplaceable, especially after the changes they just made. The 5th and final hero that they changed is Tony. Tony has not been released into our season here on State 40 yet, so I'm hoping to see Tony added in soon. But for sure, a lot of big changes to the 4 heroes that I have currently, and I'm excited to see what Tony has in store. The last thing that they changed that I want to talk about in today's video is going to be the hero weapons. Previously, hero weapons had a single skill that got increased as you leveled up the weapon. Well, now the devs have added up to 15 levels worth of skills to the weapons. When you unlock level 10, for example, for Layla's skill, her healing goes up by another 8%. When you unlock level 15 with Layla's skill, she gets this massive defense bonus for the front row heroes after she uses her skill, which is really, really incredible. So as you can probably guess, any Mega Krakens who are able to get these weapons up to level 10 and 15, which is not me, it's going to take me a month or 2 to get a weapon up to level 5. Like, it's very challenging. But for some of the Mega Krakens out there, they've added a little bit of a deeper whale game, so check out the different pieces of gear. Some of the gear is really, really great. Some of it's kind of mediocre. I'll do a totally separate video going into very deep detail on all the new gear skills. But for now, this is what we want to take a look at. Okay? So, if you guys have liked today's content, feel free to like and subscribe. Again, thank you to Lutify for sponsoring today's video. Randy, out.